The Teton Range of mountains in western Wyoming started to rise about 9 million years ago. This makes them the youngest range in all of the Rocky Mountains. It is a fairly short and narrow range at 40 miles in length and between 10 and 15 miles in width. The range is also unique because the highest peaks lie to the extreme east of the range, as opposed to being in the center, which is most common. The Tetons were created because of the basin and range extension that occurs throughout most of the western United States. The basin and range extension is a series of north-south normal faults. The parallel faults uplifted some blocks, while other blocks would fall in between. The uplifted blocks created mountain ranges, which are called horsts, while the fallen valleys are called grabens. In regards to the Teton Range, the mountains, of course, would be the horst, but the graben that is dropped is considered a half graben, because there's no further block to the east that has risen. The Teton Fault, which started building the Tetons, has had approximately 32,500 feet of displacement since the faulting began around 9 million years ago. This is evident based on a small amount of rock that is located on top of Mount Moran. Near the highest peak of this 6,000-foot high mountain is a small bit of flathead sandstone formation, which is Cambrian in age, or around 540 million years old. The sandstone can also be found below Jackson Hole at a depth of around 20,000 feet. Based upon the angle of the fault, this equates to the 32,500 feet of displacement. This is an average of about 1 foot of displacement every 300 years, and the fault is still rising. Since the Tetons started rising, they have also been being eroded, although at a much slower pace than they are being uplifted. The biggest sources of this erosion have been wind, water, and of course glaciers. Over the past 2 million years, there have been multiple ice ages and numerous glaciers have covered the Teton Range. The most recent of these ice ages was the Little Ice Age, which occurred about 5,000 years ago. A couple of glaciers that formed at this time are still present to this day, such as the Skillet Glacier, which is also located on Mount Moran. These glaciers have left a distinct mark on Grand Teton National Park, as well as much of the rest of the Rocky Mountains. Some of these features include the U-shaped valleys found in between the mountains, cirques, and tarn lakes. Glaciers formed inside of small prehistoric stream valleys, and as the snow continued to fall, the toes of the glacier crept through the valley and carved the steep-sided stream valley into the more gradually sloped U-shaped valleys that are found today. At the head of the glacier, a cirque was created as the glacier carved out the rocks into a rounded, three-sided amphitheater that can be found today. One of these valleys that can be seen today is Cascade Canyon, located between Mount St. John and Mount Teewinot. A glacier at one point used to travel down this valley towards what is now Jackson Hole. This canyon now contains Cascade Creek at the bottom of the valley. The southern-facing side of the valley has a lateral moraine, or smaller rocks that built up along the sides of the glacier as it retreated. And on the northern-facing mountain side of Mount Teewinot, the small remains of a glacier can be seen today near the head of the valley, which is in the form of a cirque. These glacial features can also be found further north inside of Glacier National Park. On the way up to Grinnell Glacier, you will move through a U-shaped valley. This glacier is also located in a cirque as it has chipped away at the sides of the mountain in Grinnell Point. Grinnell Glacier has also left behind a series of lakes that can be seen throughout the valley. These are paternoster lakes, which mean they were formed by end moraines as the glacier advanced and retreated over time. Glaciers have had a massive impact on all of the northern Rocky Mountains and up into Canada. They are among the most destructive forces that the face of the earth has ever seen. They are able to erode large swaths of land relatively quickly, no matter how large that land might have started out being, including the massive Teton Range.